I now call to order the April 9th, 2025 agenda setting board meeting of the Leechburg Area School District. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence, and Mr. Paulus is going to say a few words for Mr. Dunmeyer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your heads for a prayer for Mr. Dunmeyer. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here today. We pray for the repose of the soul of Mr. Jim Dunmeyer, who faithfully and conservatively served the school board before his passing. We thank you for the gift of his life and the dedication he gave to the education and well-being of our children and community. We pray that you are with his family and friends this time of mourning. Comfort them in their sorrow and grant them strength during this difficult time. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you. Roll call, please. Here.
Knight. Here. Mr. Welch.
Here.
Mr. Lovelace.
Here.
Mr. Maxson.
Here.
Mr. Paulus.
Here.
Ms. Stewart. Mr. Townsend.
Here.
An executive session was conducted prior to the public meeting at 5:30 p.m. in the Leechburg Superintendent's office to discuss legal issues, contracts, and personnel. We have an agenda item being added this evening, an MOA between the Leechburg Area School District and the Leechburg Area Support Personnel Association.
I was talking, I had just yesterday when I was caught up in with that. We have federal money coming for our pre-K counts classroom, and one of our schools in there has taken some days using FMLA, but that's we have money remaining. So we talked with the association to do an MOU to make them both full time for the remainder of this year. We will pay her $300 a month as a healthcare buyout. Half of what it normally would be, but the money is there. We can spend it. We're still going to have money left at the end of the year, but we're going to make sure that we can use that. And it was a one-time setup with them. It's not set precedent on what we do in the future with that.
We don't have the student representative report this evening, right? Okay. Do we have any public comment on agenda items? No. We now have presentation discussion for proposed candidates for the appointment of a new board member. And we have 3 candidates this evening. Mr. Brady, Mr. Feudal, and Ms. Rinke. And I think what we'll do is just, if everybody wants to come forward and just introduce yourself, even though I just introduced you, and just share a little bit about yourself and why you'd like to serve on the school board. And we can just go in the order I just said. So, Mr. Brady.
Hello?
Sure.
No, I'd just like to thank everybody for honoring my letter of interest and letting me come up and just say a few words. Basically, one of the reasons why I would like to be on the board again is I'm a believer in public education. My daughters all graduated from Leechburg. I have 4 grandchildren in the school right now. And I think by running for the board or being on the board again is a way to express that, that I practice what I preach from the standpoint of being on the board and trying to still be part of the educational process here at Leechburg Area School District. If you look at it from an educational background, I have a master's in work. I've worked in corporate business world with AT&T for 40 years. I've been adjunct faculty for over 40 years at Penn State, New Canaan, Point Park, Clarion University, and currently teaching microeconomics at Butler Community College. So it's the first time I ever taught economics, but in today's world, it's a good time to be doing it, I guess. And, and I just think a lot of the things that have been going on for the past few years or so forth, just to continue the processes of, the students, their education, safe environment, getting involved with the STEM. I know we've jumped up from like almost at the bottom 5% to the top 30% a few years ago. And Dr. Keever knows a lot of those programs are yours, from the tutoring and so forth, to get the kids back up in the, to get our scores back up within the state. And just like to continue that and to be considered. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Brady.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Feudal.
I'm Jimmy Feudal. I was a classroom teacher for Kiski area for 28 years, track coach at the high school for 10 years. This is my first time running for any kind of office of any sorts. What I believe is a school board should have former teachers on it, as well as business people throughout the community. I think having former teachers on the school board helps develop the district. And the most important thing with the district is the students. That we have to meet the needs of all of the students, whether it's the honor student or those who have learning difficulties. We have to meet those needs. 2, the teachers and the administration. They need to be up on technology, on the latest, whatever is coming down the pipe educationally, so they can serve the students. So the students can achieve higher test scores, whatever. And last, the community. We have to serve the community, the taxpayers. We have to inform the community what's going on with the school district, the good and the bad. The good, we have a teacher that once won an award of some sorts, then that teacher should be acknowledged and the community should know. And same thing, the bad. Taxes have been a sore spot lately. The community should be informed. Everyone in the community, not just certain areas. I am pleased to have a chance to step in for Mr. Dunmeyer, who my condolences, board members. I didn't know the man personally, but I did talk to a few people. Said he was quite a guy. In fact, one person said he was a hell of a guy. So, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you, and I'm sorry for putting my back towards you people. But that's it. I would gladly serve this school district and this school board, and I can guarantee you, I'll give you 110%. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Rinke.
Hi, I'm Danielle Rinke, Harrison Avenue, Leechburg. Is that, I don't have to say anything. I wasn't sure. Um, First, I wanted to tell you I'm very sorry to be here under the circumstances that we're here. So condolences to all. My nephew did play with Jimmy's son, so I did get to experience him. I'm very sorry. He's a very, very good guy. So that's the first and foremost. But why I want to be on the board is, so I did serve, hate to admit it, 15 years ago. Only reason I had to give it up is I took a new job that did not allow anyone to run for political office. But I now successfully ran my own business for 5 years, so I can bring some business knowledge and experience. I was part of the board where we started the first officer to come in. We went to Harrisburg, got to be introduced to the Sandy Hook teacher. That was the time Sandy Hook happened, who locked her children in the bathroom. And it was a very emotional thing. So that became a very big passion of mine to bring security guards into the school district. Luckily, we got a grant at that time. So I did a lot of that work with the school board. So I have experience there with what that takes. Aside from that, I kind of seen how the school district ran personally as well on both ends of the spectrum. So I have a daughter that came through the school, 22 years old. She was gifted, got to see all of that kind of thing. Also have a son that's going to be 8, and he struggled in the math side. So as quick as the district acted to catch those problems, something I'm very, very proud of and very passionate about. The education that this school provides is just top notch. So I'm very passionate about that. That brings me to, prior to my daughter going through high school, I also was part of the board where we did start the programs with WCCC to bring those college courses into the district. And from what I'm understanding now, there's been just several more added and many more opportunities. I also got to be a part of where we were trying to give more opportunities to students and where we were trying to figure out the WPIL rule, the 4-year wait program to bring on the soccer and all those kind of things. Although I did not get to vote on it, that was after my time. But I've been very passionate about listening to the community, the teachers here, and collaborating with the administrators and teachers at that time. I'm very deeply rooted in the community. I personally have volunteered 25 years of my life, every single year, to our youth. Whether it's through, I've coached youth volleyball, youth baseball, youth softball, now soccer, never played soccer, but those kind of things. So I'm very deeply rooted. I volunteer in the classrooms here, field trips, those kind of things. So I feel like I can really help with the education system here, as well as the safety and security, and collaborate with you and administrators on even bringing more programs to the district that are budget friendly. So those are my big bullet points there that why I really want to serve, and why I want to be here. So I know it's a thankless job. You guys do it, so thank you for what you do. It is very, very hard, and I know what it takes to be on there, and I'm willing to give it my all as well. So, any questions for me or anything on that? Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mrs. Stewart is not here, so we're going to skip the Aaron Intermediate Unit report. Lenape monthly report, Mr. Lovelace.
Lenape held their open house on March 15th. There were 110 families attended. The National Technology Honor Society ceremony was held on March 20th. Grand break for Lenape will be April 17th to the 21st, and the next board meeting will be April 24th.
Thank you. I have no Armstrong County Tax Collection Committee report. There has not been a meeting. PSBA member liaison report, Mr. Paulus.
From PSBA, there will be a safety and security board report webinar that will be on May 28th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. This just gives a brief background on the reports that need to be done from the school side of it that go to the Department of Education. There'll be a course called Foundational AI for School Leaders to learn more about the fundamental concepts of AI and the practical practical applications for AI. The 2025 Delegate Assembly will meet at Kalahari Resort October 21st, 2025 after the conclusion of the conference. The 9th Annual State of Education Report was released, and this uses results from a survey of school leaders as a benchmark of the key public school performance. The key indicators used in this year's report are student achievement, the challenges facing public schools, school finances, school infrastructure, student mental health, and staffing shortages. And finally, statements of financial interests are due no later than May 1st for current elected positions. Any questions?
Thank you. Administrative reports, Dr. Vargo.
Good evening, everybody. It's April, so that means it's testing season. So we're preparing for those items. Test tickets, we're doing everything online this year, so we don't have to worry about the booklets, but the test tickets kind of take the place of those things. So those all have been organized. We conducted a staff training that's mandated by PDE. I did that today. I believe Mr. Comar did his yesterday. The student training will be tomorrow for the grades 6th, 7th, and 8th. We conducted our second session of AI training for the staff. Mr. Barker and I did that. So I'm still standing here, so it wasn't too bad. It seemed to be received fairly well. So that's a good thing. We're looking at our third session, possibly before the end of the year, which will be talking about the actual prompts. But teachers got to interact with certain chat bots that were content specific and just general chat bots. So they were, felt a little bit more comfortable and had an opportunity to create a presentation under a kind of a time stress there. But it did seem successful, and people seem to be, slowly adopting those things in regards to the classroom. Student of the Month has been completed for March, so we're just scheduling the celebrations for those things next week, and then when we come back from break, when we conduct those celebrations. I would like to recognize all the cast members and crew and sponsors for the musical. It was an elite job. It was excellent. Hopefully everybody had a chance or an opportunity to go check that out. I got to go on Saturday evening, and I thought they did a great job. The staff, Mrs. Torella, she did a bang-up job with everything on there and given what she had. So kudos to her. I'd like to also invite the board. Dr. Keebler has the details. We're having our branding guide meeting April 15th at 1 p.m. It's going to be conducted via Zoom. So the gentleman from School Arm will be going over the survey results that took place about a month and a half ago. And then, that should lead into ideas such as visions and values of things that we want the school to represent. So you have an open invitation to that. Like I said, Dr. Keebler, he has the information and details that he will share with you. From our side of it, I have a committee of students, stakeholders, parents, and sponsors that invites have been sent out, and they gave me the okay and said that they are going to be a part of that. I know Mr. Comar has stakeholders from the elementary side of it too, to try to get a good cross section of those things. So, like I said, it's just visions and values and talking about the results of the survey. So we're not going to be deciding on color schemes or logos yet. But the gentleman, and I agree with them, thinks that talking about what those things are going to stand for are equally important as what the actual logo and color schemes look like. So there will obviously be more meetings to come after that, but this will be the initial one. And like I said, that'll be April 15th at 1 p.m. That'll be a Zoom meeting. We are preparing for the spring musicals. So I've been working with Dr. Keebler, or not musical, but the spring concerts, I should say. So I'm working with Dr. Keebler. We have one of our staff members who's transitioning to another position, and we have one coming in, but there's kind of an overlap there. So with some flexibility, we're able to get our new band teacher in here to conduct some practices so students can get to know that band director. And we're also looking at a sub who has 30 plus years of experience in that area certification to help our students out as we work towards that date in May. So we're excited about that, and it seems like we have a good plan moving forward for those students to be as prepared as possible when those concerts arrive. Additionally to that, we are finalizing the details for our Elite 8 dinner. So what that is we're taking the top 8 students in the senior class and like to make this a tradition that we do from year to year. I've been working with National Public House to actually house the dinner. And what this will be is the top 8 students, and they are going to invite, a teacher that had an impact or one of their favorite teachers that they've had throughout their career here at the Leechburg Area School District to have a night and a dinner with them to share, just the experience that they had and maybe the impact that they had on their educational career here. I know that it'll be an invitation for any board members, and like I said, I will, share those details with Dr. Keebler, and you can work through him if you're interested in attending. So the tentative date right now is May 13th. I tried to kind of thread the needle with the end of spring sports. I'm not sure what the playoffs would bring. It looks like baseball and softball are poised to make playoffs. So hopefully, and anybody who might be on that, there won't be a conflict with scheduling, and they'll be able to enjoy that evening with the teachers. And then just additionally, I know we won't see each other again, but I'd like to wish everybody a happy Easter break and a safe and restful, and hopefully you get to enjoy it with your families. So, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. I saw on television of the upcoming sports for flag football.
Okay.
And we should do a survey, we have the athletic director, do a survey to see how many girls are interested in that. Try to make that into one traditional sport. I was amazed about how many schools in the state has already started that.
I saw that also.
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, from here, they can probably get scholarships because it's going into the college.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to work with Mr. Durancheck, with those things. And so, minimum, that might be something that if we're not ready for a full-fledged sport, it could be something that's be a club, that it might be under the Leechburg moniker, but it's not an official sport. So, you kind of it's the best of both worlds there. And then if you get enough, participation, that's something you want to establish, we could certainly look at that as well. Yeah, that's another option too. You could do a co-op as well. Sure. Mm-hmm. So I will be happy to work with him, and then like I said, Dr. Keebler as well with with looking at those things and trying to get some interest there. Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barker.
Hey there, quick update from the Information Technology Department. We are working to take the full advantage of some software that we have already in the district. One of which is our continuing effort to make the most out of the features in our Power Schools student information system. So I've established a regular weekly meeting with the Carbon Lehigh Intermediate Unit, who we have a contract with to host our Power School instance. So we have experts with them that I'm meeting with individuals from our guidance office to enhance the functioning of the software. And that's been going quite well, and I'm really impressed with it, with the support that we've received from CLIU on that. Also continuing to look at professional development and training opportunities for staff members, so people are up to speed on our technology stack. This includes a series of tech tips, and I developed a new hire training. So any new hire that's coming into the district, I'm trying to get a half hour with to get them up to speed on the technology that we use here at Leechburg. And I'm happy to do that for any continuing staff that might want a special session for their department as well. We are, something that's coming up is looking into single sign-on opportunities and opportunities for automatic rostering for our integrated software applications. And looking into the budget for the coming year, I know there's been some price increases on our hardware as a result of tariffs, but that seems to fluctuate by the week. And so we're just keeping an eye on and looking at our supply chain, because we'd like to get at least 100 to 125 new Chromebooks for our students in the coming year. Finally, we've lined up a very promising looking intern to help out the IT department over the summer. And he's a student, current student at Penn West University. And I think he's going to work out great. So those are my updates. Any questions?
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Komar.
Hello, everyone. So first off, I'll say the elementary looks unbelievable right now for preparation for educational celebration. I spent a lot of time in the high school, and I know people are creative and do some nice things, but elementary teachers bring the detail, bring the creativity, and I'm really excited to see have parents come through and see the displays that are set up and the things that we got going on. So really excited about that. Kindergarten screening will be on the 15th. We have 27 students signed up right now, which is up from 12 when I reported this last time. So still have, I think we still have some more to go. Ms. Nolf is continually reaching out to those people to try to get them in for the screening, but 27's not bad. As Dr. Vargas said, PSSA week's coming up on us. We'll do ELA the week of the 22nd, math the week of the 28th, and then science on the 30th and the 2nd, and that's for 5th grade only. As he prefaced as well, I did staff training on the 8th, so yesterday, and then we'll do student training by the 14th. Also, the color run for the elementary will be on the 26th of April, so if anybody's available to come out and throw some color packets at the kids and have them run through, it's definitely a fun event. I got to participate in it last year, and I'm looking forward to that fundraiser again through PTA. Okay, for special ed, we had 24 IEP meetings scheduled for April, 1 GIEP and 1 504. 5 students currently in MTSS. We'll be wrapping up those cases here by the end of the month and moving into end of the year closure for MTSS. Lastly, from a special ed standpoint, I want to recognize our paraprofessionals. April 3rd was Paraprofessional Day. Dr. Keebler in the central office was nice enough to provide a gift for the paraprofessionals, and we were able to go through and thank them for their service. I will say our paraprofessionals are second to none. We've had I'm very, very happy with the progress we've made. Happy with the support that they provide for our students and also for staff members. So again, just want to take a second and publicly recognize that group of people. Any questions for me?
Just clarification, you said the 15th is the kindergarten screening. Is that May or April?
April 15th.
April,
Yep.
okay. And you said you have 27 now.
27 signed up for the screening. Yeah, not necessarily.
Oh, for the screening. Yeah.
Not necessarily
okay.
signed up for, I think our number was about 37 with still like a 10 to 12 fluctuation for people that were kind of on the periphery. So,
Okay.
We're looking from anywhere ballpark between 45 and 50.
Total, you think?
That's kind of ballparking right now. So 27 specifically for
Got
the
it.
screening. So
Yeah.
I know people,
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you. No.
Thank you.
Mets Environmental? Okay, all right. Move along. Dr. Keebler?
First off, I just want to, as we go over our preliminary budget, I can't wait for me to get here, as we have our music weekends. But through that time, I want to thank Ms. Degner for her work. She's doing in right now, covering the paperwork that's due and really reaching out daily with me, stopping in to do what we need to do. And Mr. Cessna for getting me the information that I was able to put together for our presentation. The first off, just to start off a little bit about what Governor Shapiro looked at this year. He's looking at a $51.4 billion plan for the Commonwealth, and K-12 education once again is a priority. He's looking at $526 million for underfunded schools, $75 million for basic ed formula, $40 million for special ed, $25 million more for school facility, which would make a total of $125 million. $40 million allocated or allotted to fund student teacher stipends, which is an increase of $20 million. $111 million for safe schools and mental health grants. $5.5 million for career and technical, and $41 million for pre-K students. I will say that there's been buy-in. I had a superintendent's meeting this morning up at IU, and it seems like more and more legislators are buying into the setting of proposal for a statewide base of cyber education. Right now, we're paying $642,000 for cyber schools, so I think that's a huge piece. And at least I got Senator Pickens' attention previously in the paper. He sent me a personal letter that he was offended that I called him out on his push towards cyber education. Part of the quote was on that, he's delayed it. He did give us some help. So I will thank him publicly for that he's made some progress on it. We have a lot more progress to make on those fronts. As we've talked today, we're only asking the state to let us keep our own money. We don't need more money added to the budget. We just need to be able to keep in our hands what we have with that. So as we look at where we're at, some revenue changes coming up. There's a slight increase for special ed for us, as well as basic ed. The adequacy gap revenue remains, as well as the equity gap. And right now, there are no PCCD grants. So when we look at our revenue coming in, over the last 2 years, there's been a lot of grant money there. We're saying there still may be more, but it hasn't been put through the budget yet. We did hear today from talk on at the Hill that they want to get the state budget done early rather than late this year, just because they want to have it in before the feds get caught up in July, knowing what may change on that. So hopefully we'll have an early budget on that. We'll know what we have to spend as we go through. Some of our expenditure changes. Right now we have $94,585 for salary increases. This is the big one. Our benefits are going up $438,000, $271,000. That's a big increase this year. Student transportation has jumped up $78,738, and then we're putting an additional $171,390 into our budgetary reserve. And you'll see later on, we're going to put $500,000 into a budgetary reserve, with the reason being, if we had a family move in, they may have 5 kids. If they're all cyber and we have to pay on that, it might be a $120,000 bill. That if we don't have money in the budget to cover it, then we're in a deficit on that. So we'll put that. The hope would be that we don't have to touch a dollar of that, but we want to make sure that it's available should that come up. Another big project we have coming up this summer is the $1.85 million boiler HVAC that will continue. That was started back in 2019. We will finish that project, and you'll see later on we are taking that out of our fund balance. We're not going to need to take a bond out with that. I think we've done a nice job of building that up from there, and I think we can use that going through. But overall, there were some cuts in our budget, but it's a $528,000 increase from last year's budget. Looking at real estate taxes, and I apologize for those being scrambled up there, but the $4,948,732 remains equal. So the number we put into our state formula, we're not asking for another dollar out of the tax base this year on that, and I'm not proposing that we put any tax increases in for the upcoming school year. We do have a slight increase coming up this year in our earned income taxes for our budget. Last year was $665,000. We're looking at about $710,000. So that's a nice little bump. It'll give us a little bit of money to help make up that gap. So we're looking at our budgeted revenue. We have $6,918,694.70 in local. We have $8,658,881 in state, and $216,200 in federal money coming in, which goes to $15,793,775, and that is roughly an $84,000 decrease from last year. And a lot of that's coming from the grants that were in there and the other pieces that were on there. And I can say, meeting with Mr. Cessna, we tried to stay pretty conservative on our revenues and expenses on that, just to make sure we were safe. As we get down through, I will be meeting with Mr. Chapla as well as the principals on that as we go into prepare our final budget, that we can take some savings into that. Just looking at, and there's the comparison from last year, the local revenue, the state revenue, and where we sit with the federal money. And the money that came off the bottom, there was $108,000 that we had for our school social worker as well as our behavioral coach. So we're hoping that what they're saying, they're going to put that money back in. We're hoping that we have that money in grants to continue some of those programs. But we'll be looking at them. If they don't continue the grants, we'll be looking at our local costs to be able to afford those. We can look at local revenue coming in is 43%, state resources 55, and it's 2, and it's balanced out there. I know it doesn't hit 100, but it was off the ballpark on that with it. So we have our $15,793,775 for our revenue coming in. Looking at our expenses, instruction, we have $10,292,170.87. Support is $5,043,050.17. Non-instruction, $657,703. Here's our facilities. This is part of that renovations we're gonna do. It will be part of our budget, so you'll see when we get to our bottom line, we're way over budget this year, but that was planned for that 1.8. It is in our fund balance. We're not gonna leave it the fund balance, we'll put it into our budget. That'll drop our fund balance as we get through the end of the year. And then our debt services, we have $1,400,000 in our debt services, which you can see our expenditures exceed $18,847,635. So when it's broke down, you can see how we break that down on that piece of it. And I apologize, those didn't update on the percentages. But what I want to say is that 1.8 million is a one-time expense. It's not a reoccurring expense. Everything else there is a reoccurring expense. So we did put the bottom line of what we will be spending this year. If you go to the next slide, Dr. Bargo, this shows what our actual expenses are that are reoccurring. So our true budget without that is $16,993,324.30 on that. So you can see where it's at with that. It's still over where we're at. Remember, and I'll show again on there, we are putting $500,000 into a contingency fund. So hopefully we don't touch that. It'll still be in the fund balance at the end of the year. So you can see on that, the 15,793 and the 18,894, it's going to show us a $3,053,859 deficit. If you take the 500,000 off, as well as the 1.85 million for the boiler HVAC, which is coming from our general fund, we're sitting in our preliminary with about a $700,000 deficit on our budget. It's incomparable to where we've been at over the last couple of years with that. I do think as I sit down with our new business manager and we can dig into that, meet with the principals, there's some cost saving pieces. For instance, we're looking at the possibility of adding an emotional support classroom at the elementary, bring some kids back from placement on it. Not only will we save tuition on that, we'll save busing and look to do that. If that opens up, we may have the possibility of bringing some kids in from outside the district to house on that, which may help pay for some of the support staff in there. So those are just some of the little things we're looking at as we review that. If we look at the millage on here as we go through, and this comes back out of STEB, you can see in the top corner there, last year it was 158.61 mils in West Leechburg, 68.48 in Armstrong County. This year it'll be 69.16 in Armstrong County and 175.5 in Westmoreland County. So 1.11 drop in Westmoreland is a 6.68 increase in Armstrong County. I do want to note on that the tax equity that we were working with the state on, it was provided through the Ready to Learn grant. There's $58,283.73, and we're going to use that to mitigate the compiled millage increases in West Leechburg. So they approved it through the state, through the e-grant system on that will be able to go through and take that off. So it'll be a line item in our budget to be able to help out the residents of West Leechburg. I will say once again, this is not a one-size-fits-all. It is once again a Band-Aid till we continue to work with the state. We've made a lot of progress this year, but we're tied up right now in the legislation and the language on that, working with Mr. Quanso as we continue to talk with them, coming down to how do we get to the bottom of fixing that. And I put at the bottom once again, just to show it again, if we go back to 17-18, the millage in Armstrong County was 77.48. It is currently this upcoming year will be 69.16. Wesley for went from 129.7 to 157.5. So it still shows that breakdown of what we're doing. It does make right and where this is really a top priority for me right now. At some point, we're going to have to raise taxes in the community. We've gone multiple years without raising them. Increases in healthcare going $435,000. We're going to have a plan set forth to do that. But I can't, when one section of the community gets a 15 mil increase and the other one doesn't, it's got to be solved from that part of it. So we're going to continue to fight and figure out what is the solution. Everybody wants to kick the can down the road from the state side of it. They don't want to answer. They don't want to go through that. So we're going to continue to fight along those lines. This just shows where we're at now, and I think this is a great piece to look at. I put our previous fund balances on the right-hand side. So when we were in 2 years ago, we had a fund balance of 5.4 million. We were projected to lose 900,000, which would put us at 4,494,000. And in the current school year, we're in, and I want to state, we did not lose 908,000. We actually, if you look down at the bottom line, the whole way down here, we were actually able to put $270,000 back into our fund balance over the last year. So that was a nice work by the district of putting some savings together. So our current fund balance, for this current budget, it was saying that it would be at $4,494,000 and that we'd be running about a $447,000 deficit, which we were projecting to show about a $4 million fund balance at the end of the current year. If you look in the columns on there, the farthest column to the right, it shows our current fund balance with that. As you go down through and you can see at the bottom, our current fund balance sitting now is at $5,672,867. So what we planned on that was to build that up so that we can do the renovations with that. We still have more renovations coming up that we're working on. We have the roofs that need done, we have the bathrooms that need redone, and the auditorium and windows are on that. So all of those pieces will help work with what we're doing to try to work within the means we have. Some of those bigger items, we're looking at the possibility of bondage and do we extend that to fix everything on there. But ultimately, my goal over the next couple of years is to make sure that our school is taken care of in the next 20 years, that we'll not spend the money. So at that point, we can start putting money aside to build it back up for when the renovations need to come again. But I thank the staff and everybody for what they've done over the course of the year to get us to where we're at. The projection of $447,000 this year. I'm not a business manager. I'm acting as one right now, but I'm pretty confident we should be pretty close to balanced or to the positive on that. So that's another good thing of where we've been at. If you hit the next one. So if we look at that, we have a $5.67 million we're spending. We're going to have a $3 million loss, putting us down to the 26919. We take that 500,000 contingency, which is going to leave us at about 3.1 million in the fund balance. If we come to where I think we're going to be at the end of this year, and some of those costs, we should be at about 3.5, right around there is where we had talked about with the board that we were comfortable being able to pay for all that stuff without taking on more debt at that time, and then we can continue to go on. So I think that as a healthy fund balance on that, I don't really want to go any lower than that, but I think if you put that money back in there, we have that, it keeps us where we need to be. And I think that the staff and everybody has been doing a nice job of staying within that budget. When we come back on the 21st with a final budget, we will have some changes to that as we meet and recommendations of how we can get that $699,000 deficit as close to zero. And really, ultimately, my goal is to try to have a zero budget. I don't know if we'll ever get there in the educational setting, but that's ultimately my goal as we go through that. Any questions on anything? Thank you.
Dr. Keebler, thank you for doing all that work. You did a great job pulling that all together.
Thank you.
LEA report, Mrs. Ceressio, you'll be doing it this evening? Thank you.
Good evening. Ms. Mondale could not be here, so she asked if I would share the goings-on within our district. Kindergarten students are gearing up and excited for their field trip to the zoo, which will take place on Thursday, April 24th. On March 18th, the first graders enjoyed an agricultural literacy program presented by Penn State New Penn. Students read The Soil in Jackie's Garden and learned about composting. They created a greenhouse where they planted their own lima bean seeds to take home and watch grow. They have had multiple reports of buds starting to show already. Yesterday, the first and second grade science classes collaborated with Discover Ed and participated in a virtual icebreaker dance party. The classrooms were paired up with one other classroom from various locations in Pennsylvania. They were introduced to another teacher, and each student got to share their name and one thing about themselves. On May 6th, first grade science classrooms will then be participating in a live activity exploring the phenomenon humans impacting animal migration. On March 27th, the second graders took over the Science Center in Pittsburgh. The students explored the 4 floors of the Science Center and the Sports Work Center, filling their minds with visions of Mars, the human body, and animal habitats. They also worked to construct builds to withstand earthquakes on the Lego floor. Many students took advantage of the USS Rayquin tour to check out the engineering and technology of a Cold War submarine. Second graders have also been working on how-to writings and exploring the rainbow with similes. Both sets of works will be available for viewing during the education celebration. At the upper elementary grades and the middle school level, everyone is buckling down and is in test prep mode. The junior class is hard at work putting on the finishing touches on prom decorations and things. The prom is scheduled for Saturday, May 3rd. And finally, the senior class is singing the alma mater daily as we move closer to graduation. Their exit interviews in English have been scheduled and the diplomas are here. I would answer questions if I knew anything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Everything else that we have here on the agenda is a discussion item, so I'm just going to move through these, and please stop me if you want to have any further discussion on these. We, again, will also be having discussion before we vote, too, so if you have questions, I can stop. 25-26 athletic supplementals, retirement of employee number 207, the resignation of employee number 847, this is a retroactive approval. Resignation of employee number 782, also retroactive. Promotion of assignment, employee number 835, retroactive. Food service secretary. Full-time custodian, these are hires. Substitute custodian. We'll then be doing the budget transfers for February through March, as well as one from April 1st. Approving those. Financial reports. Any questions on any of these so far?
I have a question just on the financial. Would we be able to have a breakdown of the legal fees that could be paid to our solicitor's company?
You can see that in, I think it's the check detail report and the general fund expenditure report, but if you want more, yeah.
I mean, because I didn't want to ask any which way things are right now.
Yeah.
Because I just was thinking, I didn't want to ask, do I try to look closer? Because maybe I could, I don't know, maybe I would just like to have it separate. Okay, there's no rush. I mean, I don't need it tomorrow. Well, I mean, I know things are really crazy for the business office. That's why I didn't ask earlier. Okay, thanks.
Sure. The 2025 official tax credit register. The Western PA School for the Deaf extended school year agreement. The 2025-26 Children's Institute service agreement. The 2025 through 2026 PA pre-K accounts partnership agreement. Any questions on any of those agreements? We have field trip requests. Gifted students to Penn State New Kensington, Creation Cafe, shopping at Aldi, 5th grade to the Fort Pitt Museum, art club to Falling Water, special ed department to Pittsburgh Tour Company, high school students pick up PA and downtown cleanup date has to be determined for that. We have fundraising requests. Any questions on any of the field trips? Fundraising requests, Kings of the Court volleyball, junior high council ticket sales for the middle school pool party, Ms. Linkus, Dr. Linkus to the 2025 spring district council meeting. That's a professional development request, retroactive. Dr. Keebler to the PAFPC annual conference, May 11th through the 14th. Any questions on any of those? The superintendent report, Dr. Keebler.
Yeah, first off, I just want to thank the administrators, teachers, support staff, everything that they do. They put a really fine product out there and meet the needs of the kids, so I want to thank them on that part of it. I will start off thanking Jimmy. Experience has helped out planning the convention for next week. It's been a lot on this. I appreciate your help in getting that ready. That's one of the things. Monday, we have a celebration lunch from 5 to 7, and the IU convention will be hosted here at Lynchburg next week on Tuesday. A few updates, our PCCD grants. We have the bids out. We're receiving bids right now for our PA system, which was part of a $220,000 PCCD grant that was left over because we didn't have hirees that were hired. We had some people leave. So we got approval to extend it to the end of the summer. as well as use that for a PA system on that. So we're getting quotes that will give us grant money for that, as well as the most recent PCCD grant that was on there for our new metal detectors. So we're replacing all 4 metal detectors. Those are all original ones that we've done originally. We've got 4 at the entrances. One is both elementary, high school, with 2 of them they come in at. And then we're also getting 2 open gate, which if anybody knows from the other districts are using those, we use those for any of our athletic events, which allows you to tone it down. It's not like we're looking for a lighter or a vape or something like that. Not just for kids, but for parents, they don't have to figure it out. It'll just detect weapons. So we're looking at knives or a gun or something like that. So those will be able to be used, and they're these can be moved very easily. They're lightweight on that part of it. And we're also getting new radios for the district. So that grant will provide 30 new radios that will update every radio we have here. Just a little bit to come out of my superintendent's meeting today, talking about federal money. We're hearing that Title I, it's anywhere from remaining equal to losing 25%. So they're looking through that part. We're not sure. They are saying that Title II money will be gone, that they're no longer going to include that. So that's another roughly $28,000 hit that we're going to take there. Don't know if they'll put it somewhere else yet, or if that's even true. That was what's been being said about on that. If anybody read the news, this week we got a letter to the state from the U.S. Department of Education requiring all school districts to attest that they are participating in any illegal DEI actions, and we don't have any guidance on this yet. I just met with Dr. Percy at EIU today. What they're saying is that the statement from the feds are that if we don't sign that, they can cut our money from us on that. So we're getting guidance. Obviously, I'll work with Joe on that. Originally, they said that it was going to be due the 13th. They since bumped it back to the 24th. So I'll keep the board updated as I go through. With that going through, I just want to ask if it comes through and it's due before the next board meeting on that, does anybody have an issue with us signing it? I don't know what the details are. Obviously, we'll take our legal advice on what we're doing. I just want to make sure we don't just fund it depending on what it's saying.
If it comes in, will you just email us?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'll give you a couple days to ask questions and we can go back and forth. I don't know if we'll have, I don't know if they'll end it by then and have something ready. You know, they brought this stuff out, don't really have a plan with it. So we'll see any details that come up. But that's one of the bigger things that we're on the ticket right now.
Just to add, I think PDE did weigh in earlier today with some guidance.
PDE did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I had a chance to look at it.
I saw PASA sent something on there, but it wasn't, they didn't have any details, so they probably didn't respond to it yet. But I'm sure it'll be ever changing over the next week as we go. Updates on the stadium up there. We had a structural engineer here this week that we're working to get approval on that as I work with next year, and they offered to sponsor a new press box up there. So we're hoping to have that ready for the May meeting, that we can get that moving with that. I may approach them for another business in the area to look at the new digital scoreboards, and Mr. Durancheck was able to pull in a company that's on there. Obviously, we'll have to look at some others if we're going to move forward with that. But it would be a piece of us upfront, putting the money up front. They will give a sponsorship that will cover it over. And right now, what I talked to next year was around $100,000 over 10 years. They would pay us $10,000 to put their name on the press box. So I will continue to work with them and get updates on that. Some of the other pieces that we're looking at right now, the state, as I said, some of the legislators are really working with us now. Mr. Magnus was out in Harrisburg for 2 days, and he was updating with us. So they're looking for every district in the state to give them 3 priorities with it of what we're looking at for funding. And we talked about it today at superintendent's meeting, that we're not looking, hey, cut this mandate. I'm not looking to cut work. I want something that's going to be addressed that's going to save us money. So, you know, the main 3 that stand out there right now is the cyber education cost. It needs to be capped so that we're not giving that money away. Special education needs to be funded more. As I talked about, putting that money in the contingencies. Sometimes we have a family move in, there might be 4 kids that are at placements on it. It could be up to $200,000-$300,000 bill if we have no control setting that up. So really, we would talk to them about, hey, if this kid's in the state, we know that, how can funding follow them? Because it's a sticker shock. When you have a couple kids move in, you don't have a plan in your budget with that. So we'll continue to have those conversations with it. And then the other piece I'm looking at is the facility upgrades. They had money out last year with that. I think we were the only 2 counties in Indiana or Armstrong that not a single school district got money for that and went to the CPCs. So I'm hoping that if it comes back up, and we had talked that, hoping legislation would put it out that if you receive money in the first round, you're not eligible for the next round, so that we can get it. So those will be the 3 priorities I'm looking at for our district as I submit that paperwork to it. And the other piece I'm looking at right now is getting every district to look at their cyber costs and compare it to 5 years ago. One of the crazy things that have been coming in common practice is kids end up in a state cyber school in there, and then within a few months they become special ed students like that. Miraculously, the bill doubles and triples on that. So we're looking at how can we hold accountability across that as we go through. And that's all I have to have these questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Gift grants and donations, the Caleb Orendi donation, and then bus schedule changes, and we will need to select a member to replace Mr. Dummer for the Lenape JOC. And we have one non-agenda item, public comment. Connie Jarrett, thank you for coming and waiting until the end.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Connie Jarrett. I live here in Leechburg and also have our business Jarrett Insurance in Leechburg. I just wanted to come to the board and formally ask if that we can quote the insurance coverage for the property and casualty and workers' comp for the school district this year. I did contact Dr. Keebler, and we've been talking about this since February, but I wanted to make a formal request to the board. Prior to 3 years ago, we insured the school for 20 years, so I'm quite familiar with the school and all the activities. I live here in town, and actually the last big claim that I dealt with, I was actually here when it first started, which was the leakage of the roof in the gym. I was here for a meeting, and so I can be Johnny on the spot versus anybody else. And I just ask that for your consideration to allow me to quote it, get you some competitive quotes, maybe save you a little bit of money. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
What quotes did you say you wanted? The property casualty?
The package policy is, considers the property, the general liability, the auto, the inland marine, the school leaders, errors and omissions, the umbrella, the crime coverage. I believe that's all. And then separately the workers' comp.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. A motion is needed to adjourn the meeting. Discussion. All in favor? Meeting adjourned at 6:55. Everybody okay to keep going here? I now call to order the April 9th, 2025 regular board meeting of the Leechburg Area School District. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Yes. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Roll call, please. Here.
Mrs. Honey?
Here.
Mr. Leppa?
Here.
Mr. Lovelace?
Here.
Mr. Maxson?
Here.
Mr. Paulus?
Here.
Ms. Stewart? Here. Mr. Thompson?
Can we have, do we have any public comment on agenda items? Can we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for March 2025?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will need to fill the vacancy for the school board director. This is a term expiring December 2025. Do we have a motion?
Second. Me and A, guys.
Yeah.
I thought to open it.
Do you want to make a motion to nominate someone? Sorry.
Yeah, I'll nominate Mr. Fidel.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
I wasn't here. I didn't hear any of the proposals or whatever they had to say. I was hoping that it would be held until I got here, since Dr. Keaton knew I was going to be a little bit late. So I'm not going to.
Okay.
I can't vote on something that I didn't hear that when we could.
Okay.
Unless some people want to answer my questions now during this. I have a question for each one. I don't know what's proper.
Okay. If it, yeah, sure. I mean, we can take a minute and, did you want to just ask any
I
questions?
think that they all three need to answer before we have a motion to make the votes, obviously. I mean, you can't have us do Mr. Fidel and then vote and then have,
There's a motion and a second.
Hmm.
well, then I guess I won't vote.
Then you can,
I can't ask the questions you want and then have a vote on it without hearing all three.
as long as you fill out the form to abstain.
Okay, that's
You don't have sufficient
unfortunate for all
information.
candidates, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I couldn't be here, make my job easier.
Yeah, I mean, this is the question for the motion. If
Once the motion's on, they can talk, right?
I can't ask them.
They can come talk again. They can all-
I don't want them to say the whole thing again. They just answer my question, I'll be okay.
Well, we're in the discussion, right? So we can do that. We're saying we can do that.
discussion portion of it.
Right now, before we start.
Yeah.
There is, there is a motion and a second to appoint somebody.
No, no.
This is the appropriate time for discussion.
Okay,
Part of that discussion wants to be from the candidates themselves.
okay,
There's no issue there.
okay. You can just tell I'm a little bit upset because I really, this is important. Not that everything else isn't. I didn't mean it that way. I'm just a little stressed. Okay, so what do we do now? Do you just want to call somebody up or do you want me to call somebody? Or they don't have to get up.
Yeah, you can just ask your question.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll start with Ms. Rennie. All right. What do you plan to do to help our district to continue to serve or continue to improve our serving of the most valuable part of our district, the students?
Should I come up?
You don't have to come up, it's okay.
So I plan to collaborate with the administration, the board, and teachers and staff to bring forward the best possible programs and initiatives that we can do here. As I explained earlier, I was a big part of what we were able to do with Westmoreland County Community College. We're bringing on new programs and things like that, as well as I was one of the Harrisburg to begin the school safety grants. So just continuing those and being able to collaborate with everybody, bring more programs and initiatives to staff this year.
Okay, thank you. And I did read everybody's thing that was sent to us. I just actually verbal communication. All right, Mr. Fidel.
Yes.
Same question. What do you plan to do to help our district to continue to serve or even better serve the most valuable part of our district, the students?
Right. And I'm sorry you missed the questions or the presentation we don't appreciate. Mine was, I believe the students are number one in this district. We serve them first, okay? Their needs, whatever they may be. The honor students and those who have learning difficulties. We serve them. And the best way to serve them is that our teachers and our administration and our school board have the tools to help those teachers serve those students. So every student can be successful in this district.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, okay.
Oh, and by the way, Dr. Keebler, West Leesburg, thank you. We do extra bonuses.
Okay, Mr. Brady, do you need to hear it again? Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's what we do for the students. Is that I agree with Mr. Fidel and Ms. Frankie that the students always come first, they always have. And I've said that in the past, after the students come the taxpayers, then the parents, and then the community, because we have to keep it from that standpoint. From increasing, from worrying about the students, as we said, the STEM programs, keep them involved with the STEM, make sure we have the technology and education not only for the students, but for our teachers, as mentioned before, to keep up with all that. So that would mean training for the teachers, training for the aides, training for the staff, to keep that going on. And also just to make sure that the students have the programs available to them. The college programs, where we have the college classes, keep that going on with community colleges, with the Penn State, New Kensington, as long as it still remains going next year for us. And, and just work with the board to make sure that we're able to get the stuff to the students of what they need and to work collaboratively together to get that done.
Thank you. Thank all three of you again. I'm sorry that I couldn't get here earlier.
I have another question. We have to pick someone for many people,
Right.
and we have to pick someone that's going to be dedicated. But sometimes we don't even have enough people there to get a quorum. But this year, I think, Mr. Dunbar only was there maybe twice, or 3 times a month. And, so whoever's going to do it, be dedicated.
I don't think the votes to fill the vacancy on this board will be the vote to fill the vacancy.
We have to send someone.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
So we have to do someone that's going to honestly want to do the job. You
But it
know,
could be somebody that's already here.
someone already here, that's what I'm
Right,
saying. So
right.
when we leave here, before we leave today, we have to have someone for, to send the money.
I think it's on here. I think it's on here.
Yeah, right there, 11 to.
Yeah. I can see why you're worried that it'll,
Yeah, but sometimes, like, I'm the only one who needs for business for the whole year. You know, it has to be someone that's dedicated. We're talking about education here, but we have to think about the children that we send out of here, or just importantly, the children that are here. You can't just say you're going to be on it and not show up.
Anything else, Mr. Lovelace?
No, that's all.
Okay, thank you. So just to recap where we are, there's a motion on the floor by Mr. Lepish. He has nominated Jimmy Feudal to fill the vacant school board director seats. It was seconded by Anthony Townsend. We just had the discussion where we did hear from everybody again. So now we'll do if there's no further discussion, we'll do a roll call vote for Mr. Feudal. Okay? Go ahead.
Ms. Stewart? No. Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
No.
Yes.
Mr. Lovelace?
No.
Mr. Maxson?
Yes.
Mr. Paulus?
Yes.
Dr. Kudrick?
Yes. Motion carries. Mr. Feudal is our new school board director.
Thank you.
And now we'll have you sworn in. We have,
So it's really easy. Just
Okay. That's it? Okay. I, Jimmy Feudal, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. Is that it? Thank you.
And then there's the signature. Does he just come and sit on it?
He does. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
You're welcome, guys. You're in. All right.
Oh.
He's on.
That's what I was.
okay. I'm going to move on to athletic supplement.
I would like to thank the other candidates for showing up. and they're on the ballot next election, so that's what happened to me. I was either didn't make it, then I ran, and that one. There's hope.
Are you done, Mr. Lovelace? Thank you. A motion is needed to approve the following 25-26 athletic supplementals as submitted, pending successful completion of all required paperwork and clearances.
Second.
Oh, I didn't say the name. Sorry.
I know, that's what.
Dan Lukaba, junior high girls basketball. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to accept the retirement of employee number 207 effective June 30th, 2025.
Motion, and I'll say with regret, Mr. Martinko was here whenever I was still teaching. Absolutely. I want to say his name right. Yeah, okay. He's just a fantastic going, and he was very considerate of all of the classrooms.
He'll be missed by the teachers.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to accept the resignation of employee number 847 effective March 7th, 2025 with an official last day of March 21st, 2025, retroactive approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to accept the resignation of employee number 782 effective March 29th, 2025 with an official last day of March 28th, 2025, and this is a retroactive approval.
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to accept the promotion of assignment of employee number 835 from 3.75 hours to 5.25 hours a day effective March 31st, 2025. This is a retroactive approval.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Has there been any, like Dr. Keeper, if you maybe heard from down in the cafeteria, is she doing okay with these bigger hours?
She has been doing fine, and we do have one posted to replace the one that we thought. There were two that resigned and talking with Tess and the rest of the cafeteria. They felt that they could do without the one, so we're only going to replace one on that. So it's posted now, so if we have that name, if we get someone on there subbing before that, not May 21st, we'll get that position filled.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve the food service secretary pending successful completion of all required paperwork and clearances. This is Lisa Marie Hooks for the food service secretary. Do we have a motion? Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
And we're going to look, just an update, we're going to look for her to start maybe around that first week of May, so she'll come in with Mr. Chapel, so that they start at the same time in the business office with them.
A motion is needed to approve the full-time custodian as submitted pending successful completion of all required paperwork and clearances. This is for Scott Esposito, full-time custodian. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve the substitute custodian as submitted pending successful completion of all required paperwork and clearances. This is Sean Chapman, substitute custodian. Do we have a motion? Sean Chapman, sorry. Substitute custodian.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion is needed to approve the budget transfers for the months of February, March, and April 2025 as submitted.
So
And,
moved.
okay.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Motion is needed to acknowledge receipt of the following financial reports and to ratify and approve the expenditures expressly set forth therein. This is the capital reserve expenditures, capital reserve revenue, construction fund expenditures, construction fund revenue, food service expenditures, food service revenue, general fund expenditure, general fund revenue, Student Activity Fund Monthly Report, Cash Receipts List, Treasurer's Report, and Check Detail Reports. Do we have a motion? Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve the 2025 official tax credit register as submitted.
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
Should we let the public know what that is, or did you?
Yeah, and we can, that would be for the, is it the fireman?
Yeah,
Have it,
that's right.
but it's a tax credit for them that each year gets renewed, so as they come in, we will have to approve it before they get that tax credit on that.
A motion is needed to approve the ESY agreement with the Western Pennsylvania School for the Deaf as submitted.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve the 25-26 Children's Institute Service Agreement as submitted.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve the 25-26 PA Pre-K Counts Partnership Agreement as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve the MOA between Leechburg Area School District and Leechburg Education Support Personnel Association as submitted.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to combine and approve field trip requests 7.1 through 7.6 as submitted.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to combine and approve fundraising requests 8.1 through 8.2 as submitted. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve professional development requests 9.1, retroactive approval, and 9.2 as submitted. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to accept the $2,920.27 donation for the Leechburg Boys Basketball Program from Caleb Orendi as submitted.
Second.
Discussion?
And that was what he had earned as a coach, and
Donate his salary back to
that
the
was very,
program, and we talked within the program, it will be used for the boys.
well, that was very nice, thank you, Caleb.
Okay. Any other?
Former student, former player.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We have no bus schedule changes, so there's no action to take. A motion is needed to appoint someone to the Lenape Joint Operating Committee for a term to expire in 2025. We'll just have a nomination, or?
Within the third Thursday? Thursday.
But they felt that we really like when you're there to be seen. I go to open house, I go to graduation, anything that I can go, I go there.
Yeah.
And they really appreciate to see the board going around talking to all of the Felton. Because that if you don't go, I have not missed a board meeting there. I think I missed one, and that was the very first one. So for the last 8 years, I've gone to everything, whatever they call me to do, I'm there.
Yeah, I'm involved in, we use their, I'm in charge of their co-op program at work for their welding. I have a kid that works for me part-time throughout this whole school year.
So you know how important it is there.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed about the stuff they do with those students. And I just walked around and I said, there's no way this kid should graduate now if he doesn't have a trade, if he doesn't go to college. But what they put out is, you should know if you're getting those children.
Yeah. He's worked out really well.
Yeah.
I don't mind stepping in for at least till just through December.
Okay, but this is my partner. But you know, my other partner was Anthony Shea. And
and we went to everything.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Joe Lepish to the Lenape Joint Operating Committee to expire December 2025.
I'll second it.
Discussion, further discussion?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. We have no public comment on non-agenda items this evening.
I want to go real quick, I have my paper about grants, I would like to congratulate the teachers. But we had teachers that received grants from Robert Nigro Education Fund Advisory Committee. With that, I just wanted to publicly thank them and acknowledge that. Aaron Hedrick received $500 for kiln repairs, Mike McKee $500 for STEM activities, Nicole Bauer $500 for K-5 STEM activities, Devo Vargo, Bobby Watson, and Dan Dorn got $300 for candle making project. Jacob Rochek, $500 for materials to commission a new piece for the Leesburg band. Jennifer Garner, $500 for educational materials for fifth grade novel study, building communities and forging connections. And Ann Fisher also got $2,000 to do a greenhouse in high school. So I apologize, that was at the bottom of my notes, and I totally missed that. I wanted to make sure I publicly acknowledge that.
That's really great. Congratulations to all of them.
Thank you to everyone.
And I think the elementary is combining all their money, trying to get the most that they can. It's pretty good work.
The combined public work session and regular board meeting will be on May 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Leechburg High School Library. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned at 7:19.
And